More data does not help your channel grow unless it actually changes what you do in your very next video. Most creators make the costly mistake of staring at vanity metrics that feel good but provide zero direction for their content strategy. Today, I'm giving you a practical system, the only weekly review you actually need to turn those numbers into returning viewers. If you spend your Sunday looking at views and subscribers, you aren't reviewing data, you're just checking a scoreboard. Growth happens in the delta, the difference between what you expected and what actually happened on the screen. We need to stop asking how many and start asking why. Why did they click and why did they leave? By the end of this breakdown, you'll have a repeatable workflow that takes less than 15 minutes a week but doubles your creative output quality. Let's move to step 2, understanding what your viewers actually experience when they hit play. If your retention graph drops off significantly in the first 30 seconds, your title and thumbnail made a promise your intro didn't keep. This is usually a lack of visual continuity. If your thumbnail is bright and high energy, but your video starts slow and dark, they leave. When you see a steady decline in the middle of your video, it means you've stopped delivering value and started talking for the sake of it. Pay attention to the spikes. These are moments where your audience was so engaged they rewatched a section. That is your growth signal. If every video has a dip at the same time, you have a recurring pacing problem. Maybe your transitions are too long or your B-roll is boring. Don't just look at the line. Go to that exact second in your editing timeline and see what you were doing. That is your lesson. Your analytics are a map of your audience's attention. Respect the map and they will reward you with their time. Now for step 3, the principle. A review is worthless if it doesn't lead to one specific change in your next upload. Stop blaming the algorithm. The algorithm is just a mirror of your audience. If they don't click, it's not a mystery. It's a mismatch. Think of your channel as a laboratory. Every video is an experiment, and the analytics are your results. You need to iterate, not just repeat. If you don't change anything based on the data, you aren't iterating. You're just hoping for a different result from the same input. Predictable growth comes from predictable systems. We are moving from guessing what works to knowing what resonates. You don't need a degree in data science. You just need to be honest with yourself about where your video gets slow. Watch your own video through the eyes of a stranger who doesn't care about you. Would they stay? The data says no, so let's fix it. Step 4, a concrete example. Let's look at a creator who saw a 4% click-through rate on a great video. The before thumbnail had too much text and a dark, uninviting background. It promised information, but looked like work to watch. By changing only the background color and simplifying the text to 3 words, that CTR jumped to 9%. That is the power of a single pivot. Next, we looked at the hook. The original intro took 20 seconds to get to the point. We trimmed it to 5, and retention at the 1-minute mark skyrocketed. The graph doesn't lie. When you give people what they want faster, they stay longer. It's a simple relationship that most creators overcomplicate. We even fixed the audio pacing. Removing every and ah created a rhythm that felt more professional and trustworthy to the US audience. This creator didn't get lucky. They used their analytics to identify a friction point, and they removed it. That is your job. If you take away anything from this example, let it be this. The data is pointing to the solution. You just have to be willing to change the plan. Now, let's turn this into a test you can measure. Step 5 is about setting up a controlled experiment for your next upload. Choose one thing to change. If you change your title, your thumbnail, and your intro all at once, you won't know which one worked. I recommend starting with your thumbnail. Create 2 versions, one that follows your old style and one that uses the high contrast rules we discussed. Write down your hypothesis. I believe a bright blue background will increase my CTR by 2%. Then, let the data prove you right or wrong. Don't panic after 2 hours. Give it at least 48 hours to collect enough data points. Emotional reactions to early data will ruin your strategy. Even if the test fails, you've won. You now know what doesn't work for your audience, which is just as valuable as knowing what does. The goal isn't to be right every time, The goal is to get smarter every time. That is how you build a sustainable career. We are halfway through. The biggest takeaway so far is that you need to be a scientist of your own content. Data is just the language. If this is useful, like the video and subscribe if you want practical creator systems. Also, comment below with the one tool you're testing this week. I read every comment because your feedback helps me iterate on these videos, just like you're doing with your channel. Alright, let's get into the practical takeaway. Step 6 is your actual Sunday workflow. This is where the work gets done. Set a 15-minute timer. 5 minutes for your retention graphs, 5 for your CTR analysis, and 5 for reading the top viewer comments. Ignore the praise and the hate. Look for the "I wish you showed more of X" or "This part was confusing." That is your future video outline. End your session with one single action item for your next shoot. If you don't have a specific instruction for yourself, your review wasn't finished. This habit is what separates the hobbyists from the pros. It's not about the intensity of the work, it's about the consistency of the improvement. Step 7. How to review the result in platform analytics. You've made the change. Now we need to see if it worked. Go to your YouTube Studio or Instagram Insights. Compare your test video against your last 3 standard videos. Look for a baseline shift. A 1% increase in retention might not seem like much, but across 10 videos, that is a massive compounding effect on your channel's growth. When you find a win, double down on it. If a specific style of B-roll kept people watching, use it in every video for the next month. What if the numbers went down? Great! You just discovered a boundary. Your audience told you, "I don't like this." That is a win in my book. Filter out the noise. If a video went viral on Reddit but has low retention, ignore it. Focus on your core audience's behavior. The data is the only objective feedback you have. Don't take it personally, take it professionally. Use it to build a better bridge to your viewers. Step 8. How to adapt these lessons for different platforms. The principles of human attention don't change, but the metrics do. On YouTube, long form is a marathon. Your main levers are the click-through rate and average view duration. It's all about the deep dive. For TikTok and Instagram Reels, focus on rewatch rate and shares. If they aren't sharing it, you aren't providing an identity signal for them. In short form, your retention needs to be near or above 100%. This means your hook needs to be instantaneous and your loop needs to be seamless. Each platform is a different room in your house. You talk to guests differently in the kitchen than you do in the living room. Adjust your tone, not your truth. The universal truth across all of them: if you waste a viewer's time, they will leave. That is the one rule that never changes. Review your platform-specific data separately. Don't expect your YouTube strategy to work on TikTok without a significant change in pacing. Master the platform-specific metrics, and you'll master the platforms themselves. It's about playing the game by the right set of rules. Step 9. Common implementation mistakes. Even with the best system, it's easy to fall into these 3 traps. Trap 1 is overanalysis. If you spend 3 hours looking at data and 0 hours filming, you are procrastinating, not reviewing. Trap 2 is emotional data. Don't let a low-performing video ruin your mood. It's just a data point, not a reflection of your worth as a creator. Trap 3 is chasing trends that don't fit your brand. If the data says a trend worked but your core audience didn't subscribe, it's a distraction. Always prioritize your core audience. They are the ones who build your business. 1,000 loyal fans are worth more than 1 million random views. Keep your review objective. Use the data to inform your intuition, not to replace it. The best creators have a gut feel backed by hard facts. Your only real goal is to be 1% better than your last upload. If you avoid these traps, that growth becomes inevitable. Step 10. Summarizing your repeatable creator workflow. Let's bring everything together into a system you can start today. Observe the delta between expectations and reality. Choose one specific change for your next upload. Execute that change and measure the result. This is how you turn a hobby into a profession. It's the discipline of review that builds the power of results. You have the tools now. Imagine where your channel will be in 6 months if you improve just slightly every single week. That is the power of compounding. You are not a victim of the algorithm. You are the architect of your audience's experience. Now go build something they can't stop watching. If you want more practical systems for creator growth, make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell. We're building a community of data-driven creators. Comment build if you want more software engineering breakdowns, and stay tuned for our next session where we dive into the latest AI technology for creators. Save this video and test it on your very next upload. I'll see you in the comments.